Now, Bucs wide receiver Mike Evans is expected to miss 3 to 4 weeks with a strained left hamstring, sources telling ESPN. An MRI on Tuesday showed that Evans has a moderate strain. He missed 3 games with a hamstring injury last season, has just struggled keeping those hamstrings healthy. And in Tennessee,
Matt, no one cares about Tennessee right now. Yeah, this is frustrating because the Bucs now they're set up to have these players like in and out of the lineup. You lose Mike Evans, you get Chris Godwin back. Like you're trying to integrate this offense right now. And yeah, it's frustrating. Hopefully you're getting the injuries out of the way now, and then later in the season you can be fully healthy. But being this banged up is definitely frustrating. But I mean, any of these games that the Bucs could have let slip away, right? That they could have ended up losing, they won, right? They beating against the Jets. That could have been one of those weird, bizarre games that you're just like, how did we just lose that game? Against the Texans, it could have been a game and the Texans have not been playing well, and you'd look back and be like, how did we let that game slip away? Against the Falcons, how did we let that game slip away, right? All teams that are not very good, but the Buccaneers have been able to be at their best when needed most. And that obviously matters tremendously in the NFL. And now you have an absolute wide open path to win the division. And right now with this record alone, even just having a higher seed in the NFC in general. Now, of course, you don't want to get too ahead of yourselves because, in a blink of the eye, things happen fast. 1 minute, Mike Evans is a catch and touchdown pass. The next minute, he's not playing for the next 4 weeks. So it's frustrating to see, but this team, this is something that this team has dealt with already. This is something that Baker and this coaching staff has dealt with already, and they've shown to be able to overcome it. They've shown to be able to, not crumble in those moments, and that's why you draft a great wide receiver day one. When they first drafted him. I talked a lot about it with Bucs fans, and especially a couple really mega Baker and Bucs fans, and saying like, listen, this is getting a young receiver makes sense considering this receiving core and kind of how they're banged up and slowly starting to age out, and like that's why you got this move, right? And it's already paying for itself. So this was incredibly smart by the Buccaneers, and they continue to prove that they are a very well-run franchise. The polar opposite as whatever the heck the Atlanta Falcons are doing right now. And I'm about to make an Atlanta Falcons video because I see that they're going to talk about it. And it's just like, they're such a mess. I was joking in the comment section again with Zangex, who's the #1 Baker Bucks fan on this entire channel. And I was just like, the Falcons fired their wide receiver coach. And it's like, everyone knows the wide receiver coach is just the most important coach in the NFL. And so, like, I'm excited to see what the new wide receiver coach is going to bring this Falcons team. And it's just like, for them, they're such a mess right now. And they were obviously going to be the biggest competitor against them. And listen, they can still spin it. They can still turn it around because they did contend and compete with the Bucs, whatnot. And if you want to say, well, hey, the Bucs are just getting started, et cetera, et cetera. It's like, well, then you could technically say the same thing about the Falcons. But I think right now, in any type of close game, unless Penix really rises to the occasion. And listen, I think Penix is doing a lot better than people want to give him credit for. I know, everybody always wants to jump on the divisional quarterback, the opposing divisional quarterback, because you just don't want him to be good, which I totally get and understand. But he has not been a core. He has not been like this massive inherent problem that I think that some of the fans are trying to pretend that he is. But if you're in a close game, in it with a division rival or just in general, like, you're going to feel comfortable with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They've just shown their ability to just make the right decisions and make the right plays, and they're ready for it. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers showed more heart and more focus against the New York Jets than the Baltimore Ravens showed with Lamar Jackson against the Detroit Lions. From a Baltimore Ravens standpoint, that's indefensible. That's indefensible. And if that's indefensible, then a team like the Bucs and Baker and the coaching staff, Todd Bowles and whatnot, like, deserve a tremendous amount of credit. I talk about this so frequently because it's obvious. You can see when teams are ready to play, when they're ready for the moment. And the Bucs are. And that is coaching staff. I mean, that is coaching and preparation. Coaching and preparation. Coaching and preparation. It's why even when Andy Reid's got a whole ragtag group of guys, whether it's, on offense or wherever, it's like even in those big key moments, it's like he still knows how to put the people in positions to succeed. And all those players, names that you've never even knew existed, they can come up with big plays because you have the coach putting them in a position to succeed. And throughout the week, throughout practices, throughout camp, throughout just all the preparation, they understand what they need to do. They understand what they need to do. And, you have to be able to see, if you can say that about them, then you absolutely can say that about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And so I'm a firm believer in giving credit where credit is due, specifically with that aspect of a team. And I think sometimes that can be under discussed because on the same side, I think it's concerning and frustrating if you're a Bucs fan that it shouldn't come down to that against the New York Jets. It shouldn't come down to that against the Houston Texans. And that's a real conversation in itself. And it's a very valid conversation from my viewpoint. But again, you got to have the whole conversation as well and say, but with that said, they've still shown their ability to be ready for the moment. This team is ready for the moment. The coaching staff is ready for the moment. The next step is to try to figure out how to make those moments a little bit more distant and not so regular throughout the season, especially against teams that are clearly just not playing very well or just not good. Don't have a good enough roster. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about Tampa Bay Buccaneers dealing with more injury issues already as this season gets rolling? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here and absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.